realtor with Coldwell Banker. And a lot of people right now are probably thinking about upsizing and wondering how the interest rates have impacted their ability to do that. So I have with me today Jim Nolte with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. And we're going to talk a little bit about, okay, you have a home that you need to sell or want to sell and buy your next home and how all of that can work. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jim.
Thank you for having me.
So what are some of the first tips you give when someone calls you and they have a home to sell before they purchase their next home?
Well, typically we want to do a little bit of investigation first, a little bit of discovery to figure out, how they want this transition to happen. And typically what we find is that the best case scenario is to buy your new home first and then sell your old home.
Mm-hmm.
It works out great for lots of reasons. Convenience, you don't have to do a contingent offer. You can move into your new house, vacate the old property, and then you can stage it beautifully to get top dollar. So that's typically the best way to go about it. But you could do a contingency offer where you buy and sell at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could
and we're getting those accepted these days. So that's definitely
they're
an option.
back in play now, which is really nice if you want to go through that. It's a little bit, it's a heavier lift for sure. But if you have to do it, then you do it, or then you sell your place first and then buy. However, you've probably got to move twice, and that could be a little bit uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So the best way is to get prepared to make this move. You want to make sure you want to figure out where your down payment is coming from. Is it coming from your own cash accounts, or is it coming from the equity in your current property? If it's coming from your current cash accounts, that makes it a lot easier for you, because then you can just make the down payment on the new place and get into it and so forth. But if you need the equity from your current property, you probably need to get started sooner than later, because we'll need to tap into that equity through a home equity line of credit or a bridge loan to get you to the next place. And that takes at least 30 days to get through that process of getting those funds available for you. And you need to do it before you're under contract on a property, because it's much more difficult to get the line of credit on your home while you're under contract, because there are certain rules that some of the home equity line of credit lenders will have on whether you can, how and when you can use those funds.
Okay. So let's say someone decides to purchase their new home and does the minimum 3% down to close, but then they sell their previous home and they get this influx of cash that they'd like to use towards their mortgage. Do they need to refinance? How does that work? What can they do there to apply that chunk of change to their mortgage?
Two great options. Either refinance if the rates are favorable and you can get a lower rate and a lower payment, or if you want to move into a 20-year or 15-year if you started on a 30-year. Or the other option that's really great that a lot of people don't know much about is called recasting. So you can take that 3% down mortgage that you got before and apply a large chunk of the net proceeds from the sale of your house to buy down your payment back down to where you wanted it to be. So if let's say you netted out $100,000 from the sale of your home, you can actually apply that to the principal through a recast, and they will lower your monthly payment.
Fantastic. So it sounds like there are some great options for people who are selling and buying. Anything else that we missed, Jim?
Just making sure that you talk to us when you want to get started on this, because we go through the discovery, planning, strategy, and then execution on it. So it does take, maybe jumping on it a little earlier than you might think to make that new dream home work for you.
And it really is a partnership between realtor and lender. So we know what your anticipated proceeds are going to be for the house that you're selling, just so you know a little bit more about how much you can buy.
And then we'll be able to model out the purchase with the 3% down and then the recast. So you'll actually see what your final mortgage will look like once you've, bought the house, sold the house, and then recast it or refinanced.
Fantastic. Okay, everyone, as always, if you have any questions, reach out. My number's right behind me, 303-710-5817. I look forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs.